never be that thing that I would have it like for a long time, or he'd be comfortable enough to leave me in a room while I have his phone in my hand. So that made me worried. That made me skeptical. That made
Leave your friends and come spend time with me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Lucy. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Um, I guess you saw the title of the video, and I think I'm gonna have a mini story time of, not I think, I am gonna have a mini story time on part of the reasons why my last relationship ended. And some of you may be thinking that, oh, why are you only talking about this right now? Because it's been like, it's almost about to be a year. But I just want to share my part because I feel like I just have to. So it's August 2023, and on this day, I woke up to go and see my boyfriend. It would be a regular thing for me to wake up and see my boyfriend like every weekend. So I think it was like a Saturday, and I went there to see him. And it was like, oh, cool. I woke up happy knowing that I'm going to go see my boyfriend. We're probably going to go out as well and have a good time. So every weekend it was like a thing for me to go and see him. So he lived about half an hour away, and sometimes I would wish that I could see him like more often, but I couldn't because of the distance and everything. So it was just during the weekend thing, unless there were like special occasions where we could see each other more often. But yeah, so on the Saturday I woke up and I went to see him, and everything was fine. I texted him and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on my way soon. And he was like, oh yeah, change of plans. I actually need to go to work right now because there's something that came up. I don't remember what the actual reason was, but it was something along those lines. Yeah. So he had gotten to work, and he left his keys with his neighbor, I think, so that I could go in even though he wasn't there, or there was someone at his place, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I made my way to his place. I got to his place. Indeed, he wasn't there, and I got in. I made myself comfortable. I cleaned. I would have cooked if I could cook, but I can't cook. And yeah, I was just Tanji, making sure that everything is in its place so that when he comes back, it's clean. He doesn't need to worry about that. You was like, yeah, it's fine. I I think about another hour went by, and he finally came back, and he came back with one of his workmates. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know this would happen, but I was like, okay, but it's fine. Yeah. And then he had also had a bit to drink. Sorry, he had a bit to drink as well, so he was low key out of it. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's fine. Then we sat and we chilled. He kept falling asleep. I was like, why don't you just go and sleep on your bed, you know? And he was like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. But then I was like, oh, okay, you know what? It's fine. You can go sleep. And he finally agreed to go back to bed, or go to bed to sleep. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just so nervous. I thought that the story was something that I'd be able to tell, but clearly, but anyway, yeah, he finally went to sleep, and he left me behind in the dining room with whoever was there, with whoever he came with. Yeah. And he went to sleep. An hour went by. I got bored. I was like, no, maybe I should go wake him up. So I went to his room and I tried to wake him up. Oh no, he was out of it. He was not having it. And then he went back. Then I went back to the dining room and I was like, yeah, maybe I should let him sleep a bit more. Another 20 minutes went by. Then I went back into the room and I was like, oh no, I can't do this. So I just went there and I laid next to him, and I tried to fall asleep as well, but I really couldn't. So yeah, I just chilled for a while. And then I looked at his phone. I was like, maybe this is my chance, maybe this is my chance. So I took his phone, and for context, I didn't just take his phone for no reason. I did have reason to suspect, excuse me, that I did have reason to suspect that something had been going on because he was a bit weird about his phone, you know? He never, I would touch it, but it would never be that thing that I would have it like for a long time, or he'd be comfortable enough to leave me in a room while I have his phone in my hand, you know? So that made me worried. That made me skeptical. That made me question a lot of things. Anyway, I saw an opportunity to go through his phone and I did. So I did know his password. I opened his phone. The first thing that I opened was Instagram. And yeah, I went to Instagram and I opened his DMs and I found out that he was flirting with quite a number of girls. He would reply to stories, he would like stories, you know. He'd even ask people out on coffee dates and dates, tell them how hot they are, tell them how much he'd smashed them. And I was like, oh, that's when my heart sunk, you know. Then I went to WhatsApp. Surprisingly, WhatsApp had nothing in it. It was completely clean, like there was nothing, which was so odd because it's like every time I would search I love you, my name would pop up. Every time I'd search I miss you, my name would pop up. You know, those things you only say to your partner, my name would pop up. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm good. And then I put his phone down, I turned it off, and I was like, wait a minute. I opened it again. I went to iMessage. Oh, 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 oh dear. Mind you, he's still asleep. He's snoring right next to me. And there's a group of people in the dining room. And I'm over here, scared or worried. I felt a lot of emotions in that moment. So I opened his iMessage and I went to the very first chat. The very first chat. I even remember this girl's name. There's no way I can forget this girl's name ever. Anyway, I opened the chat. I found some very, very disturbing things. Very disturbing things. Oh, the lovey dovey talk, very sexual talking, very. It just made me so uncomfortable. I nearly puked when I saw that. I was like, what the hell? And this person had convinced me that they are the most. Like, I never ever dreamed that I would be a victim to someone who cheats. I don't know if I've been cheated on in previous relationships, but this is the first time I actually catch someone cheating on me, and it was heartbreaking. It was truly heartbreaking. I didn't know how to deal with it. So then right after I saw those messages, that's when I was hitting him and waking him out of his sleep. I was like, you better wake up. You better wake up before I lose my. So he woke up, and the first thing I asked him was, who is the girl's name, you know? I asked him, and obviously, when you wake up, you're still confused, you don't know what's going on. But I didn't care about that. I just needed to know who this girl was, you know? So I gave him a chance to come back to life and wake up fully. Then you answer me. Ah, he started explaining things that don't make sense. You know how men try to gaslight you and lie to you, and oh no, this and that. You know what? I was like, that's when I fell apart. I fell apart. I started crying. I was crying relentlessly. I kept crying and crying and crying. Even it got to a point where he didn't even know what to do or say. Like, I don't think I've ever cried like that in my entire life. It literally broke me. To this day, I still don't understand what. I don't know. It's just so shocking to me still, you know? Like, how can such a thing happen to me? But you know what? You remember that you're not special. If they can do it to the other person that they can do to you as well. So anyway, it got to a point where he had to call one of his friends who he thought would be able to talk to me. And this was a girl. This was one of his friends who were girls. He called he called her to come and talk to me, and yeah, we spoke and she asked me how I felt, and I was like, I'm really hurt. I don't know if I can do this, that kind of thing. So her speaking to me calmed me down and it helped, and I appreciated her coming to speak to me. She's such a lovely person. I loved her, and to this day, I still appreciate her being there for me. But unfortunately, when he came back into the room, all the emotions just came back. I just started crying again, and it got to a point where even he started to get emotional, and yeah, he he really broke my heart. He honestly broke my heart. But you know what the funny part is? I didn't leave after that. I never left. I continued with the relationship, and we were fine after that. But us being fine didn't last long. Obviously, relationships are tricky after someone is dishonest or unfaithful. So, yeah, I didn't trust anything that came out of his mouth. It, it was horrible. It was hell after that incident of me finding out that he cheated. And then it just got to a point where I knew deep down that I couldn't do this anymore, but I still continued to stay with him because I loved him. But anyway, it got to a point where he broke up with me and he realized that he couldn't do it. I guess that's why he cheated. And you know what? That is okay. But today I can finally say that I'm over it, and I don't think that that's something I ever want to go through again. But unfortunately, you know how life is. You could get into a relationship tomorrow and the same thing could happen again. But that doesn't stop me from doing what I truly want. And yeah, so that is my story. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you did like this story, then you can share it with your friends, you share it with, I don't know, whoever. But thank you for watching. Thank you for support. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate the love. Love you guys. Bye.